can see this, but there's a pile of some fairly substantial stones here, kind of in a like a crescent or a J. They're not a stone wall. And then look, there's more over here, which also kind of makes a shape. It's very, very strange to just have and look, there's another pile of rocks. We're hoping to find today are some hanaces. So if you're a beginning mycologist, that's a person that's interested in mushrooms, studies mushrooms, and you're probably interested in finding mushrooms to eat. I know I was when I first got started. I mean, I realized how cool mushrooms were, but I was really keyed into ones I could harvest, eat. So a couple of the genuses really pop out for edibles. One is hanaces, which encompasses the toothed fungus, both the boar's head, line mane, and the hedgehogs, which are more typical looking. They look like a gill mushroom, but when you look underneath them, they have a toothed hymeneum layer. Their reproductive layer where they produce their spores. It's toothed. Reminiscent of the boar's head, which is that thing that grows on the usually beech trees and looks like white icicles. Boletes is another genus that is very forgiving. I don't know of any boletes that will kill you. I know a couple of them are reported to make people sick. And the chanterelles. Those, I would say, are three genuses that are good for the beginner. There's a bolete right there. They're very easy to identify because they have pores for their hymeneum layer. They're also known as sponge mushrooms for obvious reasons. They look like a sponge. They're kind of, a lot of them are kind of spongy too. And then look, here's another pile of rocks. Looks like there's a gap and a pile of rocks there. This is, I mean, it's a stone wall here, but this just does, we'll follow it. It doesn't go very far. That's the thing, it just peters out up here. And look at the size. Look at the rocks they had to move. Well, I suppose this one could have been here, but, I mean, most of these rocks have been placed here. And look, it just ends right here. Very, very strange. Another like random pile of them over here. Hypomyces lactiflorum. Combination of two fungus. Look at it. There's one there. Looks like it's been riddled with bud bugs. And there's two more right there. I don't know if this one's any good or not. It does not look like something that's edible, does it? If you told somebody these were edible, you tell people these are edible. Oh, I just found another one over there. They don't believe you. No, those are good. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Beautiful. I've talked about this before, but these are most likely Rochula betavips that's been colonized by a parasitic fungus which changes both the morphology and the taste of these mushrooms. They go from being very peppery and unpalatable unpalatable. They're not toxic. The host mushroom isn't toxic, but it's just not good to eat. But these totally change the flavor of it, and they change the shape. They also take over the mushroom's hymenium, its ability to reproduce. You can see the whole surface of this mushroom is now a reproductive layer, a hymenium layer, reproducing spores. Whereas the original host mushroom was a gilled mushroom and would have only produced spores in this area where the gills used to be. You can see what was left over the gills. These are a fantastic mushroom for beginners because they're very easy to identify and nothing else looks like them. There's no toxic lookalikes that I'm aware of. And to me, they kind of taste like a mushroomy flavored fried potato when you fry them up in olive oil. But yeah, these are perfect. The bugs haven't gotten into them. Fantastic. Fantastic. This is most likely Rush levadovips. Yep. So this is the host mushroom that we're looking for that can turn into the lobster mushroom, the Hypomyces lactiflorum. These, I'm pretty sure, are in the genus of Russulas. Russulas are another good genus for edibles, as is what I think is Lactoporus, the milk mushroom. I don't know if I'm saying that right. These are characterized by being really brittle. Listen. See how it just breaks up into tiny little pieces, like shatters. I believe they have what are called spirochetes. I think that's the term, which makes them brittle. Maybe somebody can correct me. That part's kind of spongy, but even so, look at that. Being wet, it just breaks up into tiny, tiny little pieces. Offhand, I forget the genus for puffballs. You'd think I would know that. I think these are stalked puffballs. Yeah, see, they got little stalks, but they are puffballs. It throws some people off because most of your puffballs don't seem to have a stalk. But these are also choice edibles. And you can tell they're puffballs, and they're good to eat because if you break them open, it'll look like marshmallow on the inside. If it turns black in here, you don't want to eat it because the spores started to sporulate. These haven't matured yet, so these are perfect if you wanted to eat them. I just spied what may be Amanita verosa, I think, the destroying angel. What's this right here? There's something hiding right here. Look at that. Oh, the diptera have gotten into it. Look how decayed it is. It's all wonky. But yeah, up there looks to be a huge destroying angel or death cap. And the genus Amanita, which for the most part is a good genus to stay out of. Oh no, that's not a death cap. Look at the size of it. Gosh, it's got to be a foot tall. Has an annulus, the ring. It's just too beautiful for me to mess with. It might not be an Amanita, it might be something else. It's got a tufted cap. But it's got some characteristics of the death cap. I mean, I know it's not. The death cap is smooth on top, but it's just by itself, not in a group. Oh, it has an off smell, a bit like chalk mixed with dirty socks or something. Beautiful, beautiful mushroom. Oh, some more puffballs. For me, puffballs seem to take on the taste whatever you cook it with, but some people say they are flavorful. I'm probably overly optimistic, but let's see what this is. Is it possible to be a hedgehog? Maybe. Probably not. Nope, not a hedgehog. Oh, let's check it out. Does it have the ring? Does it have a vulva? Smells about right. So, amanitas are characterized by having what's known as a vulva, or something they call, it's also called the universal egg. And as you can see, this baby has it. It's a little difficult to discern, but it's just a bulbous. Apparently, there have been cases where before this has emerged from the vulva, people mistakenly picked it, or it started to come out. They thought it was a puffball. But you should be able to tell the difference once you cut them in half, because you'll be able to see what would be, in effect, the embryo of the mushroom, the baby mushroom. All the parts would be there, just be all compressed. And amanitas should have an annulus, fancy term for ring. For the most part, the amanita genus, most of them are pretty toxic. You can get away with eating Amanita muscara. We have Amanita muscara famosa up here. I think in like the Great Lakes area they have Amanita muscara, which is the red-capped variant. And in Japan, they prepare them by soaking them in salted water because the psychotropic chemicals, the psychoactive chemicals, the chemicals that would affect you and get you intoxicated, are polar molecules. So they're soluble in water because water is a polar solvent. And the salt exasperates that. That helps suck all the moisture out of the mushroom. And then they have these huge festivals and eat them. And I think Caesar's Amanita is really the only choice edible. I could be wrong. Well, let's see what we have here. This is a beautiful mushroom. Just beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. Woo. That's a super cool mushroom. Dang. I don't know for sure, but this could be a death cap. I'm not really. You can see it doesn't have the ring yet because look up in there. See, it hasn't, it's so new, it's so fresh that the veil hasn't separated, but right where it's sticking to the stipe, aka the stalk of the mushroom. Oh, can you see that? I want to make sure you guys can see it. That's where the annulus is going to form. So this mushroom is, well, I've picked it now, but this mushroom would have been ginormous, would have been huge. And you can see it's got the vulva. You can see where it's busted out of the vulva here, these little remnants. See that? Can you guys see that? Am I showing you that right? So this is the vulva. Yeah, it smells about right. The savory death cap. If this is a death cap, and I could be mistaken, I think like I said, I think the Latin is Amanita verosa. Amanita verosa. The spotted variant, there's an Amanita that's got spots on. Oh, Panthera. Amanita Panthera. That's right. Which I don't think is what we saw earlier. I think that was something different. It might have not even been an Amanita. I could be completely wrong on it. Oh, ooh, that stipe smells. Yeah, be really careful with mushrooms that look like this. Do you see them? Those are beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Work of art. So I am not sure what these are. It looks like there's a mushroom, lobster mushroom, that maybe a squirrel popped up. But we're gonna take it. Oh no, it's in pretty bad shape. Bugs have eaten it. That's a beautiful lobster right there. Look how pretty it is. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome mushroom. So we kind of talked about this before, but when this host mushroom gets colonized by the fungus, the what is it, asymmetrical? Oh, that's not the term. Asomytes? I can't pull it out of my head, but I believe it's an imperfect fungus. See, this is just the apple on the tree for the mushroom. This is not the body of the mushroom. The body of the mushroom is the mycelium that permeates the ground. So when a mushroom produces a fruiting body, they put a certain amount of energy into it to try to reproduce spores. And this fungus that attacks this acts like a cuckoo bird kind of taking over the nest, right? It takes over the hymenium layer that the mycelium of this host mushroom had to invest in the terms of energy in producing this fruiting body. So it's kind of an insidious little action. But they don't seem to colonize all of them, which is interesting. Doesn't seem to impact the ability for this species to proliferate in the forest, because it's all over the place. Russula bedovips is everywhere, as it seems like. Look at the fungal growth on this broken off maple. Some kind of polypore. I don't think that's turkey tail. I think that's something else. Similar though. If you manage your forest for fungi, you'll feed the world. You manage your forest for trees, you feed the rich. It's very interesting up here in Maine. You can get a tax break on your land if you put your land into, quote, tree growth. But their tree growth involves periodically cutting all the mature trees down in your forest. They're not going to get magnificent oaks like I got. Look at that. I do manage my forest for fungi by letting the big old trees grow. You guys probably know this stone wall almost as well as I do by now. So we're back to the 200-year-old stone wall that bisects my woodlot with a bag full of lobster mushrooms. Look how big they get. Smells nice. It's a pretty mushroom. And will support and become Hypomyces lactiflorum, the coveted lobster mushroom. This is pretty cool and worth noting. Again, Scleroderma, the false puffball. I mean, it looks like a puffball. I guess technically it is a puffball. It's just not an edible puffball. One thing that's noticeable about it, it'll be rock hard. When you go to squeeze it, it's super hard. And then, see this one, that's really cool. So this one is getting ready to sporulate. The inside is no longer white. And eventually this will just turn to powder. And then it will act like a regular puffball. But you can see how it's kind of got this pattern to the skin. Edible puffballs, or at least the field puffball, is smooth. And your stalked puffballs have stalks. This doesn't really have a stalk.